Well, good morning, and welcome to the last day of July. Welcome to Friday. I'm super excited to be with you. If you haven't met me before, my name is Ellen. I'm from Rent Roll Starter, and I help rent roll owners to start and grow their rent rolls using cheap and often free marketing strategies. Now, before we jump into this little training session, I just want to make sure that I am appearing live where I'm supposed to be appearing so that you can hear or see me, or both, hopefully. So let me just do a little check to make sure that that is working. Looks like it is. That is an excellent sign. All right, cool. Let's get started. So let's talk a little bit about rent roll growth, but let's talk specifically about social media. Something I've been hearing a lot of late is that right now it's getting harder and harder and harder to come up with social media posts, to find time for social media stuff, to get engagement on social media, for people to see your stuff on social media. And here's the thing, right now, with everything that is going on, especially if you are in Victoria at the moment, your time is really, really precious and you don't have a lot of it. And between everything that you're trying to do in terms of keeping your rent roll running, keeping your property management teams running, keeping that part afloat, between that and then trying to balance out getting some stuff on social media, there's just not a lot of time for it. And here's the other thing. The reward feels like it's not even worth it. Like, tell me if you can relate to this. You spend all of this time creating social media posts and highlighting how your office does things, highlighting how professional your services are, highlighting how low your vacancy rate is, or the fact that you've managed to keep arrears really low. Highlighting all of these things, and you post it to Facebook and you get like one like and it's your mum. Tell me, like, I don't know if you can relate to that, but I know that for me, that's just feels like a bit of a kick in the guts, because you spend all this time and like nobody sees it. And your time is so precious at the moment, because it's like if you're based in Victoria at the moment and you're running individual inspections rather than open homes, what used to take 20 minutes to get a bunch of people through an open home now takes like 4.5 hours to get the same number of people through that house. Like, it just takes longer. Give me a little thumbs up if you can relate to that, whether you are in Victoria at the moment or whether you've been through that with the lockdowns, depending on what state you are in. So I know that your time is very, very precious at the moment, and probably also like your brain power is compromised as well, because you're negotiating so much stuff at the moment that coming up with great engaging social media posts is not where your brain power is applied. So what I want to share with you today are 3 things to consider as you're preparing your social media content, and then I also want to give you access to a list of social media post ideas. Actually, let me give you access to that list right away. I'm going to pop that into the comments right now. So let's do that. Give me a second. I'm just going to pop that into the comments below this video right at the moment. So what I've done is I've put together a little booklet that has 16 different social media post ideas. And I'm going to pop this in here for you right now. So that should appear just below here for you. So what I want you to do is I want to make sure you download that social media posts ideas so that you've got some ideas that you can work with, just especially if you're finding that you're struggling to come up with ideas on what to post. That should give you a little bit of help. But I want to step you through 3 things to consider as you're coming up with these social post ideas. So you can use that list of 16 different post ideas, but I want you to think these 3 things through before you actually go ahead and post them. So here are the 3 things. Firstly, who are you talking to? So when you think about your social media platforms, who are you talking to on those platforms? Now, it might vary. So have a think about this. Just say you're on Facebook, because that's where we are going live right at the moment. So just say you're on Facebook. Who is your audience on Facebook? Are you mostly attracting landlords, mostly attracting tenants? Do you realize that you've got a lot of tenants, but you actually want to be speaking more to landlords to try to attract landlords a little bit more? So have a think of that, because the types of posts you create need to appeal to the person you're wanting to attract on social media. Now, here's something to consider as well. If you're using LinkedIn, let's think about who is it you're talking to on LinkedIn. So, for example, you might realize that you use LinkedIn for your like virtual networking, creating referral partnerships, connecting with mortgage brokers, solicitors, conveyancers, financial planners, but you don't actually use LinkedIn maybe for connecting with landlords. So as you think about who it is you're speaking to on each platform, you may need to manipulate your post a little bit, because if you want to appeal to landlords, you might want to speak one way. If you're wanting to appeal to tenants and increase inquiry on a particular rental property, you might need to speak another way. And if you're wanting to connect with referral partners over on LinkedIn, for example, you might need to speak a different way again. So have a think, keep that in the front of your mind as you're planning your social post. So grab the list of social media post ideas in the link below, but then run it through this filter. Who am I talking to? Second thing to consider is, why are they on this social platform? So let's think about Facebook, because that's where we are right now. Why are they on Facebook right at the moment? Like, if you are like me, if your landlords are like you, they're probably on Facebook just to have a bit of a mindless scroll. They're probably not actively looking for another property manager right at that time. Like, you have a think about it. What are you doing on Facebook? You're scrolling through a couple of things you're probably looking at. You're probably looking at what's going on locally. You're probably getting a little bit of news from your Facebook feed. What else might you be doing? You might be watching some funny cat videos. You could be doing all of those things on Facebook. But then have a think about what you're doing when you're over on Instagram, for example. You're looking for beautiful images, mostly. Like, you're not getting news particularly from Instagram. You might get some highlights, but you're not getting a link to go and read a news article on Instagram. And then if you're on LinkedIn, perhaps you're there for a completely different reason. You might not be there to have like a mindless scroll through your LinkedIn feed. You might be on LinkedIn to deliberately connect with people. So have a think about that as you're planning what you're going to post on each of these platforms. So they're the 2 things so far. Who is it you're talking to? And then why are they on that platform? So that you can make sure that you are tailoring what it is you're saying to the people on the platform. Okay, making sense? I'm just going to grab a quick drink. And then the third thing is to pay attention to what has gotten engagement for you before. This is really important. Even if you only have like 20 followers on Facebook, 20 people have liked your page on Facebook, have a look at anything you've posted in the past and what got engagement before. This is a really good sign. And this data that you can get from your own Facebook page, Instagram account, LinkedIn profile, this data, way more valuable than anything I can tell you. So having a look at what your audience responds to, the most important thing that you can be doing. Here's some examples. When you scroll back through your timeline on Facebook, for example, if you posted a video one week and a picture another week, did you notice that one of them got better engagement than the other? So can you see that maybe your audience prefers video or pictures. And I know that we are getting a lot of push to video, but you still need to pay attention to what your audience likes, okay? Have a look at what sort of length post is appealing to them. So when you just write one line of text along with your photo, does that get better engagement? Or do you find that when you write a longer post that people actually have to click the see more button, does that get better engagement? Like, pay attention to these things. Have a look at the difference between when you use what I would call like a stock photo that somebody else took that's beautifully polished and beautifully styled versus when you share a photo that you took of yourself at an open home or private inspection, whatever you're allowed to do in your state. Which one of those gets better engagement? My suspicion is that the photos you take will probably get better engagement than stock photos, because subconsciously we can all kind of tell when it's a stock photo, right? Like when you're scrolling through a feed, you can tell which ones are stock photos that they didn't take themselves versus photos that they did take of themselves, their family, their team, right? You can tell the difference. So pay attention to the difference between when you use a stock photo or even just when you use a really highly polished photo. So something that your team, your photography team went and took a photo of a beautiful house and added virtual furniture, made it look just stunning. Does that sort of a photo perform better than when you take a selfie at an open home? So pay attention to the difference there, and also pay attention to photos that include pictures of you, your face, your team versus pictures that don't include you, your face, and your team, and notice the difference there. Paying attention to this sort of stuff, I know it feels a little bit like, oh my goodness, Ellen, what are you asking me to do? All this analytics. No, I'm not just asking you to look at analytics. I'm asking you to spend your time well. Because if you are growing a rent roll, if you are also trying to navigate a pandemic, then you don't have the luxury of endless amounts of time. So if you are going to be planning something to put on social media, please make sure it's the type of stuff that your audience wants to see. Because if it's not the type of stuff that your audience wants to see, then it's a terrible use of your time, and your time is so valuable at the moment. So I just think it's so important that you're focusing on stuff that your audience actually wants to see. Okay, so please pay attention to that. Please notice it. Even if you don't track, like you don't need a spreadsheet of, you know, I posted this on this date and it had a long caption and a photo of me and these are the results I got. And you don't need to track that sort of thing, but notice what gets engagement, notice what gets better organic reach, and just do more of that. That's what's really important to you. So they're the three things. Focus on who are you talking to, landlords, tenants, or referral partners. Why are they there on social? And tailor what you're posting on the social platforms based on that. And what posts do you have in your history that have already gotten engagement? Don't reinvent the wheel. If you've found something that works, if you've got a formula that works, please create more of that. So they're the things that you need to focus on. Please download the list of social post ideas from the link below, so that you can take those ideas, then run it through those 3 questions. And then remember your ratio. So the ratio that I like to work with is, for every 1 promotional post you want to do, you need 4 social posts. So what does that mean? That means that you need 4 posts that are interesting, engaging, entertaining, educational, social, that are not just focusing on switch your property to us, switch your property to us, switch your property to us. So you need 4 of those for every 1 time you say switch your property across to us. Because you need the fun stuff, you need the social stuff, you need the interesting, engaging, educational stuff that you can still weave in, you know, look how great it would be if we were your property managers. You can still weave that into your socially posts, because can you see, if you're showing a little behind the scenes video of how you're setting up for a private inspection or how you're setting up for an open home if you're in a state that allows them, can you see how showing that behind the scenes stuff actually does say to your potential landlords, you want to be working with our team because this is how we do things. So it does still promote you and your business, but the difference is it's not a hardcore sell. And the majority of people are not on social media to be pitched to constantly. They want to engage with you. They want to get to see what's going on in your business that they don't get to see on your website. And that's what's beautiful about social media, that people get to know that little bit more. So remember those three things. Download the list in the comment below. Download that list so you can have a play with them. They're all designed especially for property management, rent roll growth, post ideas, but run them through those three questions before you post anything so that you're making the most of it. Because if you've only got the time to post 3 times a week, for example, make every one of those posts count. Now, if you need extra ideas on social media, we are getting ready to open up our free social media training event. So I'm going to pop that in a little link below as well. In September, we're going to be running our social summit. Now, the social summit is it's usually 5 days of free training. This time, it's going to be a little over 2 weeks of free social training. You'll get lots and lots of ideas that you can implement, and also you'll just get a new outlook on social media as well. So I'm going to pop that in the comment below as well, so you can check that out and you can register in advance for that if you like the idea of attending even more training and if you like free training. And we're going to do it here on Facebook inside a little private Facebook group. So it's really fun. We had a great time earlier this year and we do it a couple of times a year. So please make sure you download your list of 16 different social posts in the comment below. Make sure you register for the social summit, which is coming up in 5 or 6 weeks or so. And make sure you ask yourself those 3 questions before you schedule up any posts. Who are you talking to? Landlords, tenants, referral partners. Why are they on social media? And they're on different platforms for different reasons. And then what has worked well for you before? So use those 3 questions to help you figure out what you're going to be posting going forward, because your time is precious and you're crazy busy at the moment and you deserve to get the most out of your posts if you're posting at all. So use those 3 just to get the most out of everything you're posting, because I know you're busy, so make the most of it. Download your 16 different social media post ideas in the comment below and join us for the social summit. If you've got any other questions, throw them in the comments below. I'll go back and check later on as well. Thanks so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.